Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to our webinar on enabling interoperability and scalable digitalization for improved patient safety. My name's Catherine Coates. I lead our GS1 healthcare team in Australia, and I'm your host for today. As I'm sure you're all aware, this is a really important topic for the industry, as we're seeing the healthcare industry in many countries focus on how they're creating scalable digital environments where they have consistent, accurate, and timely data available to support patient pathway and certainly support the system overall. Okay, so for those of you who are not so familiar with GS1, I wanted to make sure that we covered off the fact that we're actually one of a community of global non-profit standards organisations who support healthcare by working with industry stakeholders around the world. The focus of organisations like GS1 and others that you see on this screen is to develop and support the implementation of standards that provide a critical interoperability layer needed to underpin the journey to improve patient safety and ensure the greatest levels of efficiency within our processes. This is especially so as we digitise and think more about consistent approaches to the data that we need within healthcare. This collaboration that you see on the screen, which is the Joint Initiative Council, ensures that all of the standards that are supporting healthcare work together across the end-to-end processes in all areas of health, whether it be the supply chain, clinical processes, or the ongoing management of patient data and care. From a practical perspective, and my apologies for the slide being a little bit busy, from a practical perspective, one of the places where the various standards from the different organisations that I showed on the previous slide come together is to support best practice within a hospital environment. So something such as the diagram that's on the screen. So this is a great example of where the standards are to support care pathways and for identification perspective, where GS1 standards provide an unambiguous identification and data capture layer, whilst other standards like SNOMED or HL7 provide clinical terminology and structured messaging. For those organisations who are looking to digitise their patient pathways, and they may be working towards things like HIM stages, the use of GS1 standards is a critical piece to ensuring that the data that we are capturing clearly differentiates between people, products, places, and assets that are used within the care setting to make sure that all of the identification is agnostic of the technology that's being used so that different technology can be implemented at different points in time. This is probably a great place for me to hand over to our guest speaker for the webinar today. Chris Sullivan is the Global Healthcare Practice Lead from Zebra Technologies. He'll be sharing with us some of his experiences and knowledge from his many years of working within healthcare and talk about how technology is being applied to bring the dream of digitalization in our hospitals into a reality. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Catherine. And good morning and good afternoon to all. It is my pleasure to be here. So as Catherine mentioned, my name is Chris Sullivan. I have worked in the healthcare industry both on the healthcare provider side at a hospital level and also as an industry education role and in a role with Zebra Technologies. And today I'm going to talk about the macro trends in healthcare technology, the many exciting things that are happening, but also the linkage around barcodes and data standards to power and make positive change possible for all of us. Okay, so we can't walk or talk very far without hearing lots of buzz and energy around digitalization in healthcare. The healthcare industry is the fastest growing industry for technology investment, and the promises and potential are profound. Healthcare has so many needs, whether it be reaching underserved communities, reducing high expenses, improving safety, so many different needs, and technology offers so many high potential opportunities. In this slide, you'll see health information systems such as electronic health records. We see smart Internet of Things medical devices, cloud computing, and predictive care is a hot topic. Mobility is a hot topic, and many, many other healthcare technology trends are happening, and the spend and investment is moving fast. And many governmental agencies, Ministry of Health agencies, are really driving and advocating for these investments. It's also interesting to note that the HIMSS organization, a non-profit global company, has created digitalization standards to provide guidance for healthcare providers on how to invest technology and how to implement advanced technologies within the patient care setting. This stage 8 methodology can take over 5 years to implement and is very specific and also very rigorous. So clearly, all over the world, in different countries and regions, we are seeing serious focus and investment, and this trend is happening in an accelerated pace. So with all of the investments and the standards and the big trends that dominate the newspapers, we have the question to ask is, are we putting so much focus on technology that we may run the potential to lose our focus on patient safety? Or stated perhaps in better terms, how does patient safety fit with the technology investments? Where is the intersection between these two things? And we're going to tell that story and talk specifically about how barcode standards and barcode technologies really play a critical role in linking these two things together. So to tell the healthcare digitalization story, I'd like to first start talking about the retail industry and the grocery stores. This image shows scanning happening as the customer is checking out of the grocery store. And this, of course, is very familiar to all of us. This is the normal process. Grocery stores and other retail businesses use scanners and barcodes to ensure accuracy of product, to ensure authentication of the correct price, and to auto-replenish and manage inventory processes better. It's just normal. It's something that we've all experienced for many years now. And in fact, it would feel for many of us a little awkward and unusual if we were to go through a retail store and not have the scanning technologies in place. However, when we look at the healthcare environment, we don't see the same level of maturity or the same level of adoption. This is a little bit odd because if you think about the things that are happening in healthcare, we're looking at medications, which are chemicals that we ingest into the body. We're looking at medical devices, which are oftentimes steel implants, which are implanted into the body. These are very serious things, and it feels like the drive and opportunity for improvement in the patient care setting is at least as equal to the retail environment. And one could make the position that because we're talking about people's lives and people's health and safety, that it's more critical. So as we move into digitalization advancements in healthcare, the focus should be both on the exciting big potential, but also on the criticality and the foundational steps that the barcode ecosystem can provide. And we'll talk now more detail about these things. So as we all already realize, the opportunity for barcodes to be utilized in patient care settings is immense. Beginning at admissions and moving all the way through into patient discharge, there are many different workflows within healthcare. Many times these workflows are done without technology enabling them, and sometimes these are done by humans with manual work steps. Oftentimes that's the case. And we know from life experiences, it's part of being a human, that our work accuracy is not as consistent as the work accuracy of machines. So there are questions around the accuracy and the clinical efficacy and safety in healthcare environments when there is a reliance on humans to do the workflows. So at this point in time, what we're going to do is pose a few questions to the audience to get some feedback on your perspectives with the utilization of barcodes. And then based on your feedback, we'll have some dialogue and some sharing that will be taking place. So we are confident that we have smart industry leaders on this webinar who are already well versed in healthcare technologies. So we're going to put you all to test around 3 questions, and only 3 questions. The first question is with the utilization of barcode labels. Are they used on medications, medical devices, or both medications and medical devices? That's question number 1. The second question is, how often would a normal-sized hospital, normal volume of patient care, scan barcodes if they were utilizing barcodes in a mature and fully advanced capacity? And finally, the third question is, how accurate is barcode scanning in hospitals at a typical hospital? And what we'd like to do is open up these poll questions to the audience, and we'll get to observe the responses to that, and we'll have a little more dialogue after that. So Catherine, if you're able to implement the online poll, we will start that process.
It's currently open, and we're getting some responses already, so that's great.
Super.
Yeah.
I may need some help because I can't see the responses, so if perhaps you just read those off and then I'll take it after that.
Okay, sure. So for the first question is, which items have barcode labels? The options are medications, medical devices, or medications and medical devices. The second question is, how often do digitized hospitals scan barcodes annually? The first response was 25,000, the next one was 250,000, and the last one was 2.5 million plus times. And for question 3, how accurate is hospital barcode scanning? The first response is 88%, the second response is 98%, and the third response is 100%. So we'll leave those open for perhaps another 30 seconds if everyone on the call can respond, and then we'll close the poll and share the results. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see the results of the polling on screen.
We can, and I can as well. So
Fantastic.
the first question is 85% majority medications and medical devices, and that is correct. That is the right answer. On the second question, we have a little bit more of a balanced response, and the correct answer is over 2.5 million scans annually in a mature advanced stage hospital, and that also was the majority number. And then the third answer is, or on the third question, we see the majority being 88%. I'm sorry, the majority answer is 41% of the people responded to 88% accuracy. That also is correct. So I'm really excited to share that we have smart people on the webinar who answered accurately, but it's also worth noting that there is quite a bit of balanced response on those second and third questions. And so I'd like to just highlight some obvious points here. The first point is that 2.5 million scans annually is very large. So scanning is high volume activity in hospitals. And the third thing I wanted to highlight is that 88% accuracy, although strong, leaves 12% inaccurate, which is over 200,000 false scans that occur in a normal hospital a year. So I think that's a significant insight, is the fact of mistakes and challenges that happen with scanning, even when strong technologies are in place. Okay, so at this point in time, we're going to use that information as background, and we're now going to move into the applications of barcode utilization and the exciting interoperability potentials and circumstances that are upon us. So the question around medications and medical devices as barcode use was a precursor to other applications for barcode utilization in healthcare as well. In fact, we're just at the very beginning stage of a step up in the accuracy, productivity, and value of structured data. Barcode symbologies and barcode standards from GS1 bring structured data, which in turn brings knowledge and information at our fingertips, which in turn brings actionability for real-time decision-making that's clinically accurate and clinically informed. So this slide shows really sequentially quite a number of things within the healthcare environment that are establishing data standards to enable the movement and the exchange of all different types of healthcare information. This is exciting. We'll talk more about that. But in general, the totality of all of these data standards and structured data brings a lot of power and a lot of flexibility. And if it's used well, it really becomes the engine for integration and advanced applications of technology. We hear the term sometimes in the technology space that data is the new oil or data is the new gold. This type of structured data environment will be a powering force to bring insight, intelligence, and actionability to day-to-day patient care decision-making. Okay, so real quickly, I'm going to provide some foundational information around the barcode ecosystem. In healthcare today, there are two predominant symbology choices, 1D or 2D. In fact, a normal hospital will have both types of barcodes within their physical environment. The 1D technology is significantly older. It's first generation. It was actually invented in the 1950s. It was first put into active utilization in the 1970s. 2D barcodes has become the norm in most industries, and especially in healthcare, due to the complexity of data and the appetite for more data information in healthcare. 2D barcodes are much more popular and successful. Among other reasons, they store and handle up to 100 times more amounts of data than 1D barcodes. The next slide is going to share a little bit of information on specifics on the difference between the 1D and the 2D barcodes. What we see are symbology types, and we see EAN 13, EAN 8. Those are international numeric standards for 1D. They have a limited numeric capacity that you can see, 13 digits, 8 digits. Other 1D symbologies can go further, but still fairly limited in their data capacity. When we look at 2D symbologies, GS1 data matrix, Aztec, MaxiCode, QR codes, we're looking at bytes compared to digits, and we're looking at a magnitude, as mentioned earlier, that is 100 times greater in its capacity. The innovation that's coming to 2D barcodes is not slowing down. QR codes are very popular now for quick responses. Quick response code is what the QR code is, but also the magnitude of data they can handle, the ability to bring the barcode straight to a URLN link, so you can get deeper sets of information from web pages. Those are innovations that GS1 is leading the way with, and so the 2D barcode ecosystem investment is just beginning with lots of advanced innovation coming around the corner. Okay, the GS1 data metrics is the industry norm in healthcare. It's the predominant data metrics type or symbology in healthcare, and it's used globally as the most effective barcode standards. And among other things, the GS1 data metrics provides a built-in accuracy measure to make sure those scanning errors are not excessive. So there's built-in intelligence to do error correction. There's also a nice breadth and depth to not only provide data intelligence around the physical things such as the medications and the devices, but also around the people, data standards around the patient itself, the staff members as well, and that combination of data really provides accelerated power and capabilities that bring lots of value and really serve as building blocks for other innovations in the healthcare setting digitally. And we'll talk a little bit more about this coming up. So we have, okay, here's a barcode example. This is a fictitious medical device. The point highlighted here is that a medical device based on many regulatory requirements in different countries from all throughout the world. The typical medical device now has all kinds of important and interesting data information. This slide visually shows the diversity of information. When captured in real time, this data makes a difference because it becomes converted from a symbol into words and action and intelligence and alerts and next step actions. And so this information becomes very powerful information. But if you look at the bottom of this slide, you see a barcode that is linear. That's the 1D barcode technology. And what we're going to click to is an example of the same fictitious medical device with 2D barcode, which is the circled barcode at the bottom here, which has density of the barcode symbols. And this enables more information to be captured, such as the catalog number, the identification number of the product, both at the case and serialization level, expiration dates, etc. So the 2D barcode literally can help a caregiver prevent a falsified medicine from being delivered, or prevent a recalled product that has quality control issues that's been pulled by regulatory agencies. The 2D barcode can enable these safety checks to occur. That may sound like an extreme example, but just in the case of product recall, there's over 1 million units of products that are recalled each year. Many times, those recalled products end up being used on a patient or implanted into a patient. So these are serious issues. Okay, so pulling this all together, the multi-dimensionality of the GS1 data matrix capabilities brings patient safety, brings healthcare workflow consistency. In this example, we're showing the global service record number for the caregiver. We're showing the global service record number for the patient. We're also showing the service record incident number for the patient. And we're showing the global identifier number for the drug. So you're seeing all three of these information sets triangulated together to authenticate on multiple levels the appropriateness and the accuracy and the safety of patient care delivery. Any hospital will have dozens and dozens of different caregivers. Only a small subset are going to have authentication and an ability to administer drugs. There should only be one patient that is authenticated, and there should only be one medication type that is authenticated for the script or prescription for that patient. So this one example from a medication matching example shows the effectiveness how the matrix data matrix standards from GS1 drive better patient care delivery. So at this point in time, we've highlighted the movement of technology trends in healthcare. We've established a baseline of foundational knowledge around how barcodes are being used. Now what we'd like to do is share a few thoughts in the next 5 minutes or so around implementation of barcode standards. On the one hand, barcodes are simple. You select a barcode standard, you identify scanning technologies, and you implement that. But on the other hand, there can be a lot of complexities, and as mentioned, can have many false reads and false positives on the scans based on these complexities. So the first learning in successful implementations of barcodes within a patient care setting is to map the areas of healthcare in which you will be using barcodes. This slide shows a partial setting of the different applications of use of barcodes within healthcare. And it's diverse. It ranges from food to medications to equipment to patients, et cetera, et cetera. The applications of use range and vary in different departments. So there's a lot of diversity here, and it's important to identify where you plan to implement your barcode systems. Once you've identified your barcode systems, you then have a feel for the types of barcodes that are being used within your environment, both current state and future opportunities. And then that will provide a pointer on what are the appropriate scanners or the scanning technology types that should be used within a healthcare setting. And scanner technology types vary, and based on a 1D barcode environment, there are scanning technology types such as a laser scanner or a linear image scanner that are effective to capture the 1D barcode labels. But when we move into the advanced applications around 2D barcodes, which at this point is the norm in many hospitals and most hospitals, then what you see is a direction of difference for the scanner technology type, which would be an array imager. So if you take a step back, how does a hospital control what types of barcodes are coming into their physical environment? The answer is the hospital cannot usually control that. The barcode type is determined by the manufacturer. There is not a uniformity by the manufacturing community for medications or equipment or medical devices. So you'll see a diversity of barcode types coming in, but a heavy preponderance of 2D will be coming in. So array imagers have the ability to not only capture 2D barcode scans, but also the flexibility to read 1D barcode scans. And we'll touch upon the difference around healthcare design scanners, which have added features and capabilities specifically to help enable the successful read in healthcare. So after you've determined where your barcodes are going to show up, what's the right scanner type, there are some consideration areas around the form factor choices. This slide shows some of the examples for scanner form factors. The tethered scanner example is, as the word implies, will show attachment to a physical environment. This typically is a good form factor for stationary employees, perhaps in the lab or the pharmacy. Hands-free scanning technology form factors are very good when there's high volume repetitious scans. Think of the grocery store where you have many items checking through in fast volume. It's much faster to have that hands-free environment to enable the volume to go quickly. And then in many cases in healthcare, we have caregivers who are on the go and need a physically flexible scanner that can be wireless, that can be moved, that can be carried around. This image shows a bedside nurse as one example where the wireless scanner is very effective because the caregiver is moving from the patient to the medication station and to other parts of the room. So the form factor makes for a big difference in successful implementations, and most likely a combination of form factors will be appropriate in a healthcare environment. In addition to the scanner, an awful lot of attention should also go into the software within a scanner. When you look at different scanners, they physically look similar. They all seem to do the same thing, and even smartphones have scanning capabilities that have the application in healthcare settings sometimes. But healthcare purpose design scanners have many software functionality features to move that 88% scanning accuracy closer to 98% scanning accuracy, or even 100% scanning accuracy. And we've seen case studies in the industry where that's exactly what happens when there's advanced technologies that are designed for healthcare being used. So flexible data capture. Imagine a patient who's sleeping and the wristband is covered up, and so it's hard to read that scanner unless you have an omnidirectional scan range, or perhaps it's a physical distance that's far away. Having the flexibility to move the scanner and capture scanner data in different ways is important. The barcode scanner also has, with advanced software capabilities, can have algorithms built into the scanner to parse the data and to make sense out of the many, many different symbols that are on the barcode itself. And also multi-code data formatting, being able to interpret or blend data from different sources or different codes. That's another software functionality that's commonly used in healthcare. The ecosystem and software interoperability speaks to the importance of making sure that the knowledge from the barcode can be imported into other healthcare technology systems. An average hospital may have over 100 different healthcare information systems. It's important that that scanner has ease of interoperability with the other systems. Health information protection and data security and operational management, such as long battery lives and safety features that ring fence in the barcode scanner into the physical environments. Those are all things that the software in the scanner provides when healthcare design scanners are being utilized. So what we've covered is an array and a diverse amount of considerations for successful implementations, and hopefully this gives some thinking and insight to how barcode implementation can take place. So I'd like to summarize the information that we've shared, and in a moment we'll open up the webinar for dialogue and questions. What we've covered today is a rapid advancement of technology. Smart devices, advanced intelligent cloud databases, electronic systems, mobility applications, all of these things have wonderful potential, real-time intelligent information. But without the barcode ecosystem in place, those exciting advanced technologies that get so much attention will struggle to be successful. The barcode ecosystem is the foundation for acceleration of technology. The barcodes make sure that task accuracy is in place, it reduces medical errors, and it links the data from the barcode symbols into the healthcare information systems. And those things are the recipe for the success of an ecosystem. And so the barcode system is the foundation that the other technologies need to extend and build off of. And oftentimes, as I travel the globe and speak with different healthcare organizations, the attention is heavily skewed towards the perhaps exciting topics and sometimes overlooked the criticality of the barcode ecosystem. So as we think about the digital roadmap, we encourage folks to take a strong look at the barcode infrastructure and to look at an enterprise-wide approach that's holistic in nature. This slide summarizes the consideration points when planning and strategizing around your barcode ecosystem and your barcode strategy, and can serve as a good checklist for people as they're looking at building your own healthcare organization strategy.